Hi everyone. As most of you know, Charlene and I took a recent dive trip to Fiji for a new adventure. The trip was on November 7th to November 22nd, 2013, and we started the trip with a stop in LA just to do some short sightseeing there before we flew across the Pacific to Fiji. The flight across the Pacific took approximately 10 hours, maybe a little bit more. I can tell you that we both had such great anticipation for this trip. I myself, I was having these weird dreams before I left that I was Gilligan in Fiji. Whoa. Well, we hope you enjoy the video of what we saw both above the water and below the water in the beautiful islands of Fiji. Enjoy. Fiji is about 10 or 11 hours from Los Angeles, or about 3 hours from Australia. The Fiji Islands look like the background of every Gauguin painting he ever did of a tropical paradise. Mountains rising out of the sea, no transition between water and jungle except lines of powdered sugar beaches. The sand stretches as smooth as a pool table, except for the footprints and some tiny delicate shells, like a kind of cowrie that's been Dalmatian spotted. Villages are hidden behind lines of sheltering coconut trees. Everyone speaks fluent English, even out in the villages, and they might well be the friendliest people on the entire planet. The only voices you'll ever hear raised are the constant shouts of "Bula!" That's the all-purpose greeting and expression of joy. Kava is the glue that holds Fijian society together, and it was the one thing the missionaries weren't able to change about the islands. The truth is, before missionaries in the early 1840s, the Fijians were not exactly known as the nicest people around. Most sailors went out of their way to avoid Fiji. At least one missionary ended up as soup. At the death of a chief, a passel of his wives would be strangled, so he wouldn't have to die alone. Their war clubs were works of art, like it would be rude to bash someone in the head with a club that wasn't as beautifully made as possible. The missionaries eventually stopped turning into soup and changed the entire approach to life. They convinced the locals to wear clothes, and they stopped head bashing from being the sport of choice. The missionaries couldn't do anything about kava though. Kava is made from the root of a kind of pepper plant. Grind the root up, mix it with water, and you get, well, a drink that both looks and tastes remarkably like mud. You never dish your own kava, it's always served by someone else. You'll be offered a high tide or a low tide, which is a full bowl or a half bowl. Your mouth may go numb, or you may not remember where your legs are. Personally, after losing count of high tide bulls, all that happened to me was I sloshed my way back to my room. The Naya was designed and built by mega yacht designer William de Vries Lench and built in Holland in 1979. In the 80s, she was a booze cruiser in St. Lucia and the Grenadines. When the economy went bad, she fell in hard times. She was purchased in St. Lucia in July 1992, dry docked in Puerto Rico, then sailed 8,500 miles to Suva, Fiji, where she was gutted and completely rebuilt to modern dive vessel standards.